Om Vishwam Darpan Drishyamana Nagari Tulyan Nijantargatam Pashyannatmani Mayaya Bahiribodbhutai Yatha Nidraya Yas Sakshat Kurute Prabodh Samaye Swatmanamevadvayam Tasmai Shri Guru Murtaye Namahidam Shri Dakshinamurtaye Bijasyantarivangkuro Jagadidam Prang-nirvikalpam punaha Maya kalpita deshakala kalana Vaichitra chitri kritam Maya viva vijrumbhayatyapi maha yogi vayasvechaya Tasmai Shri Guru Murtaye Namahidam Shri Dakshinamurtaye Tasmai Shri Guru Murtaye Namahidam Shri Dakshinamurtaye Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryankaravavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai Om Shanti 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 Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. So third mantra says Jagarita Sthanaha Bahishprajnaha Saptangaha Ekona Vimshati Mukhaha Sthulabhuk Vaishwanaraha Prathamah Padaha. So in the first two mantras of this Upanishad, so two inquiries were introduced. First, in the first mantra, Omkara inquiry, and in the second mantra, Atma inquiry. And what was pointed out what was pointed out in the first mantra? Well, Omkara is the essence of everything. And in the second mantra, it has been said, well, Atma is everything, Brahman is everything, but so am Atma. I am Atma Brahma, and therefore, so Atma is the essence of everything. Essence, Atma is Brahman, Omkara. Understanding Omkara is understanding Brahman. Understanding Atma is understanding Brahman, which is everything, which is whole. So having introduced this two inquiries, Omkara inquiry and Atma inquiry, then from the third mantra onwards, now how Atma is Brahman. So that is started. So from 3 to 7 basically is that Atma inquiry in this self, which is the inquiry leads or gives you knowledge that Atma is Brahman. Then from mantra 8 to 12 will be Omkara Vichara, Omkara inquiry. And as part of that, the Upanishad said, well, in this Atma inquiry, which is in the second mantra, Soyam Atma Chatushpat. Atma, which is Brahman, is Chatushpat. Brahmatma is Chatushpat. Means, well, that is, it has a 4 quarters, 4 padas, 4 quarters. And what are these 4 padas? Well, this will be the question. So Upanishad defines then each pada from this mantra number 3. So third mantra, well, talks about the first pada. Fourth mantra will talk about the second pada of the Atma, Brahmatma. And fifth and sixth mantra together will be talking about the third pada of the Atma, Brahmatma. And seventh mantra also, well, will be talked about, will talk about this Atma, which is Brahman. So that is the fourth pada. This is Turiya, you know very well. And while talking about these 4 padas or quarters, Upanishad uses the method of Adhyaropa and Apavada. We'll see that. So Upanishad doesn't mention that we are using Adhyaropa Apavada model. No. But we can note it very well. And what do you mean by this Adhyaropa Apavada? Well, while talking about the first 3 padas, Upanishad says these 3 padas are nothing but Brahma or Atma, consciousness, but along with Vyashti, Samashti, Prapancha. Means Vyashti, Prapancha, Vyashti and Samashti, Prapancha. Waking world. That's in third mantra. Consciousness associated with. This associated with, don't think that there are 2 things. Waker is there and consciousness is there. and there is a time in which both get associated. This is said like that. You can say, well, consciousness which is reflected in this Vyashti and Samashti, waker and the waking world. Or consciousness obtained as a Vishwa, consciousness obtained as a Vishwanara, Virat. Right? Just because I will talk to you, waking world, somebody where consciousness is associated. It's a basically a inert world. Why we are talking about consciousness associated? It is in the form of Virat. They are describing that way. So, Vishwa Vaishwanara, that's the first pada. Waker, waking world means waker and consciousness associated, which is Virat in fact. Okay, anyway. So, this is the first pada. And it has been said also, Jagrita Sthana, etc. Consciousness obtained in this waking state. In waking state, what obtains is the waker and the waking world. Anyway, that is Bahish Prajna from the Vyashti standpoint, the consciousness which is external and contacting the objects, etc., externally, etc. Anyway, then the consciousness, the second pada, the fourth mantra, will talk about the consciousness associated with the Swapna Prapancha, the dreamer and the dream world. And we will also see why they combine Vyashti Samashti. We will see that. So, and then consciousness associated with the causal world, Sushupti Prapancha, etc., which obtains in the deep sleep state. Well, that is a third pada. So, these first three padas are, I am explaining you this Adhyaropa pada. So, the first three padas are consciousness associated with the Prapanchas. And so, we can say it is the consciousness along with the Prapancha, Saprapancha Chaitanyam, you can very well say that. And then when you come to the fourth pada, well, there which prapancha is associated with the consciousness? Well, because we have covered three already. So, well, it says the fourth pada, well, consciousness is free from prapancha. So, nishprapancha. So, in the first three padas, consciousness associated with the prapancha, waker, waking world, dreamer, dream world, etc., etc. And the fourth pada talks about the Nishprapancha Chaitanya. So, when, it looks a very contradiction. Atma with the Prapancha, Brahmatma with the Prapancha, and Brahmatma with the Nishprapancha. And you say four padas. So, well, it is inclusive, right? So, it's not that now the consciousness or Brahmatma is with the Prapancha, later it will be free from Prapancha. No. These are the four quarters of Atma. So whatever may be the reality of three, maybe is it the reality of the fourth? Because four quarters, each has a same reality. And therefore, but we should understand that this is the contradiction only works. Only through the contradiction, Upanishad teaches, only through the contradiction Bhagavan teaches. In the 9th chapter, he also says the same thing. The world is in me and world is not in me, right? He said that Masthani, Sarvabhutani, etc. So, Bhagavan also doesn't say the world is in me right now and later world will not be there in me. No. He says world is in me, at the same time world is not in me. And this is the contradiction, definitely helps to understand. So, Bhagavan doesn't give a time reference as though. So anyway, so world is there, world is not there means what? World, consciousness along with the world, prapancha. Consciousness free from the world, prapancha, nishprapancha. So what does it mean? Well, it means world is there seemingly. When anything is there and at the same time it is not there, then we should take it that thing is seemingly there. This is how I gave you example also last time. Pot is existent and pot is non-existent. Means pot is seemingly existing. Seemingly. There is really no pot. So pot is, anyway, I don't want to make you bore, but please understand, this is the way it is being taught. So world which is seemingly there, experientially there. Seemingly means you experience, therefore you say it is there. But in reality it is not there. That's how it negates also. And this particular idea of experiential availability and in reality non-availability of anything reveals that that thing is mithya. That's it. So that's how this contradiction works to prove the mithyatva, basically. And to establish mithyatvam of this universe, Upanishad uses three different methods. And you know very well, of course, that is not here. Here it is one of the model, that is Adhyaropa, but there are totally three methods. One is a Karya Karana Prakriya, or sometimes they call Sushupti Prakriya. And that is how Upanishad introduces Sushupti. Many places, in Aitareya Upanishad, in Taittiriya Upanishad, and many places, except you will find that they introduce a Shruti, Sushupti. Even in Chandogya, even in a Brihadaranyaka, you always find discussion of the Sushupti. Sushupti is Karya, and then there will be Karana also should be introduced, and then Karya should be proven Mithya. Karya is Mithya, means the universe is Mithya, and what is there is just Karana. Of course, Karana status is not there, but then what is there is just the Karana. Naturally, Karana pervades the Karyam. Karyam is Mithya. There cannot be an existence of a Karya independent of the Karanam, and therefore what is there is just Karanam. Even though we will not call now as a Karanam, because the Karya itself is Mithya, then the Karanatvam or status also is Mithya, and therefore what is there is just Brahman, etc. etc. So this is how, and that is how even Chandogya talked about Vacharambhanam, Vikaro Namadheyam, etc. What is there is just a name, there are no corresponding objects, well reveals that the Karya is Mithya. Anyway, so this is one Prakriya to understand the Mithyatvam of the universe. And the second Prakriya which is used in the second chapter of the Mandukya, of course this Karyakarana Prakriya also will come in the second chapter, and also another Prakriya also will come, and that is what is Drishyam? Well, is Mithya. World is Mithya. Prapancha is Mithya. Why? Because you see it. Imagine. So, terrible argument, right? And Brahman or Atma is Satyam. Why? Because you don't see it. Therefore it is Satyam. So this is amazing. That's how Vedanta becomes a very difficult thing for a few people. What you see, you take it real. What you don't see, you should not take it real. You should take it as unreal. No. What you objectify is unreal. What you cannot objectify, but because of which you objectify everything. I told you, naturally you objectify. Starting from your thought, your memory, your knowledge, your ignorance, your emotion, your hunger, your thirst, your perception, everything. Everything. Whatever you objectify is Mithya. Because of which you objectify. Alone is Satyam. Because otherwise, how will you objectify? How will you objectify? Object cannot objectify the subject. But if I am not there, where is objectification? Where is any object, including space and time? Where is that? I would really like to know. Without consciousness I, where is space? Where is space? Swamiji, there will not, I am not talking about right now. There will not be a space when you will not be there, Swami. There will not be a space, even the future space, the future possibility of the non-availability of the space also is in consciousness. That is the very concept of a non-availability. Presence or absence of anything in this prapancha is established by consciousness. In fact, is consciousness. Because the whole thing is revealed by this self-revealing Atma. The very existence of I is self-revealing. No one reveals me. Please understand, I'm repeating this self-revealing and self-existence. This is the difference between I and non-I. Anyway, so the second argument will be Drishyatvat. Drishyam is objectification. So, and what is Drishyam? Of course, can never be real because it is Agamapayi also. That will come. That is in the second chapter. Second chapter has both these prakriyas, Karana Karya Prakriya as well as Drishya, this particular Prakriya, to prove the Mithyatvam of this. That's how it is Vaitatyam. Vaitatyam. Vigataha tathatvam ismat saha vitataha. So, there is no tathatvam, there is no reality. Vigataha has gone from this universe. How will you prove? This to Prakriya. Vaitatya Prakriya. Anyway, and this in this mantra, in this section, I'm sorry, well, this third Prakriya, this Adhyaropa, the Prakriya is been used. And what is this Adhyaropa? That world which is experientially available. And so from experience angle, you say world is there. So you are definitely, even though it is Brahman, but you superimpose because you accept, because it's experience. And therefore, since it is experience, you accept it. So you accept world means, but it's a Brahman. Okay, no problem. You superimpose it. That's Adhyaropa. So experientially we acknowledge the availability of the world, and this acknowledgement of experiential availability of the world is called Adhyaropa. I will give you another definition because this is very important Prakriya. Vedansara also introduces Adhyaropa Apavada by Sadananji, very beautifully, very brilliant way of introducing, in which, well, he says there are three levels of Adhyaropa. We should know this. And the first is a beginningless Adhyaropa. What are they? He said, understand, Adhyaropa is nothing but a mixture of Satyam and Mithya. Adhyaropa is nothing but a mixture of, he uses the word Vastu and Avastu. These two are mixed. That is Adhyaropa. So, that is Adhyaropa. Like the mixture of rope and snake. Wow, is Adhyaropa. No, Swamiji, we never say in Adhyaropa means we say this is snake. Yeah, of course, you say this is snake. For people who have attended Gujarati class, they may feel little repetition, but I feel a need here to give you a reference of Adhyaropa Pada. Anyway, because this particular section 3 to 7, etc., and even later also in this particular chapter 1, this is the Prakriya, and in fact this is the most important Prakriya. Anyway, so Vastu. So how can you say, Swamiji? We never say it's a mixture. When you do a Adhyaropa of a snake on a rope, well, you never say it is a mixture. Definitely not. But your words reveal mixture. Yeah. So if you know this rope and the superimposed snake, then it is no more a superimposition, okay? But so when you say this is snake, this implies to rope. If suppose there is no rope at all, just land, will you say this is snake? No. There should be something which is not known as the rope, but is also appreciated in a general sense. So rope is, you have appreciated. This, you have appreciated as a this. This is rope, then there is no question of, of a superimposition. So definitely, so this is snake has both rope and snake. Could you follow? This part belongs to rope and the snake part belongs to Mithya. That's Adhyaropa. So Vastu Avastu Mishra, mixture of Vastu and Avastu, Satyam and Mithya is Adhyaropa. So three levels of Adhyaropa Vedanta Sara talks about very beautifully. First is Anadi Adhyaropa, well, definitely, and that is nothing but what are they? Say Anadi Adhyaropa will include Satyam, which is Anadi, and Mithya, which is Anadi. What is that? Ishvara. Brahman is Satyam, and the Maya, which is also Anadi, Mithya. So Anadi Brahman plus Anadi Maya becomes Anadi Ishvara, Adhyaropa. Anadi Brahma plus Anadi Avidya becomes Jiva, Anadi, Adhyaropa, Anadi Adhyaropa, first level of Adhyaropa. Second level of Adhyaropa is what? Then whatever now you have, the first level of Adhyaropa is over. So Ishvara is there, Jiva is there. From Ishvara now there is a creation, Abhinna Nimittopadanam. So from Ishvara the whole creation is Adhyaropa. The very Ishvara is a Adhyaropa on Brahman. Then whatever the Srushti is there, Ishvara Srushti is Adhyaropa. Whole Prapancha is Adhyaropa. So that is second chapter in Vedanta. Then third chapter, third level of Adhyaropa, Jiva Srushti. Jiva itself is Adhyaropa on Brahman. And therefore, whatever Jiva has a Srushti, this is good, this is bad, this is how, this is... We divide the world into three things. Certain things we like, certain things we don't like. For majority of the things, you have an indifference. If you come to this ashram, suppose, right, from New Jersey, I tell you, you must have experienced thousands of things, starting from the grass and these and that and people and all. Nothing gives you a kick of, oh, beautiful. No. Few things here and there. Rest of the things you don't bother. So, you divide this Ishvara Srushti into three. So for certain things you are udasina. With respect to certain things you are a liker. With respect to certain things of this Ishvara Srushti, you are a disliker. That's your own Srushti. Jiva Srushti. Adhyaropa. Yeah. So first three chapters talk about three levels of Adhyaropa. Anadi Adhyaropa, first Jiva and Ishvara. Then Ishvara Srushti, second chapter, Adhyaropa. Third, Jiva Srushti, Adhyaropa. But why should we study all this? Because once you come to that Jiva Srushti, which is Adhyaropa, you find that there is a samsara. All this raga, dvesha, and this and that. This raga, dvesha alone are the shadripu, kama, krodha, lobha, moha, mada, matsarya. Raga, dvesha is not there. Try to see anything of shadripu without raga, dvesha. It's not there. So the thing which haunts the person, the thing which burns the person, is all this kama, krodha, lobha, moha, mada, matsarya. Anyway, well, definitely. So all the three are Adhyaropa. And then the fourth chapter, Apavada. There is no Jiva Srushti, there is no Ishvara Srushti, there is no Jiva, there is no Ishvara. What is there is just Brahman. Brahman plus all this Maya and Brahman plus Avidya, which is Mithya, has become Jiva and Ishvara. Jiva Ishvara is Mithya. Therefore their creation, Ishvara Srushti, Jiva Srushti is Mithya. Everything is Mithya. What is there is just Jiva is Ishvara. Brahman, Jiva is Brahman, Ishvara is Brahman. That's the reality. Apavada. Amazing, right? So experientially, what is the world? Jiva Srushti, I would say the world of an individual or world of a Ishvara, which is available for your experience. Raga Dvesha available for experience. Indifference available for experience. Which is experientially there, but definitely in reality which is not there, is this. All a person experiences either as a Ishvara Srushti, either you experience as your Jiva Srushti, either you experience as a Ishvara Srushti, all objectification, entire prapancha, well, is basically has a basis in this consciousness. That's how consciousness is free from everything. Everything is consciousness. Consciousness is, Brahman is free, Atma is free from everything. This is what you have to understand. So Adhyaropa Apavada is a fantastic thing. So the world, in spite of experiential availability, the world does not have a independent existence of its own. Therefore it is Mithya. Right? And so, Apavada means definitely a Mithyatvam of the universe. And so, when I negate reality of existence, definitely of Prapancha, etc., experientially it will remain available or not. It will remain available. Nothing to worry. Nothing. Even I would say even Raga Dvesha also will be experienced, even by a wise person. Even, when Bhagavan talks about this in the second chapter, Raga Dvesha, but it doesn't haunt the person. That's how it is. We say this emotional maturity, etc., means freedom from Raga Dvesha, etc. There is no freedom. Really speaking, it's not freedom. To a level, you with a Yoga Shastra, you go so that you can manage your emotions, Raga Dvesha, etc. You can manage. Once you are able to manage them, then the rest of the job is done by the knowledge, saying it is Mithya. Never there will be a free mind from all these things, including wise person. But for a wise person, it is arising and just going like that, because that light is there of Mithyatva. Just goes. Yeah. Just as the fear of the snake, etc., is there, and as you put a lamp, etc., I mean, you throw a light there, and as you see the rope, immediately everything gone. Hopefully. Hopefully it is gone. So, Swamiji, it is gone, but still I have fear. Could be for some people. But for some people it is just a laughter by throwing a light. Oh, he smiles or laughs immediately. This is how it is. So, never, but Swamiji, how can you say he also has raga? It will be there. It will be there. Yeah. Because they are of anadi janmas. So impressions of liking, disliking, anadi. Not of this life. Even of this life you cannot remove. Because it's very, but yes, he is not in this way. Not at all. He has managed emotions to a level, became qualified for the knowledge, and then rest of the thing is Mithya. All emotions become, the entire mind is Mithya. But Swamiji, it is Mithya means he discard. No, not at all. Not at all. Name dvesha rago, name lobha moho, name mado naiva me naiva matsarya bhavaha. So it is modern Vedanta, dissociation. I am not this, I am not this, I am not this. Hey, you are Chidananda, you are Purnaha. If you are Purnaha, you have to include emotions. Yeah. So you have to say this. You have to say this. Every desire is I. Every like is I. Every dislike is I. Every anger, the thought of anger, etc. is I. Even the thought of jealousy, etc. is I. If jealousy is I, then I am jealous. No, that will not be there. Because you are free from everything. You are just Chidananda, pervading every thought, every emotion in and through everything. But at the same time, transcend every emotion also. So this is how it is, this thing, that's how Nirvana Shatakam Puja Swamiji was sometime he was a critical once upon a time. Later he took, but he was critical, thinking that, well, I am not that, I am not that. Then if I am not that, then ultimately after 6 verses of Nirvana Shatakam, you become a point. Because all 5 elements I am not, you have to start like that. So therefore I am physical body, I am not physical body, I am not subtle body, I am not that. So everywhere, so slowly, well, you become point. Then how can you say Chidananda? Chidananda means, Ananda means fullness. Where is fullness? Where is Purnatva? Where is Purnatva? It is all, you become Shunyam in fact. Anyway, so this is Adhyaropa Apavada Prakriya, which I have narrated in short. And so with that help of, so first 3 padas basically talks about this Prapancha, Saita Chaitanya, which is Adhyaropa, and the 7th mantra will talk about the consciousness, Atma, Brahmatma, which is free from Prapancha, which is Apavada, naturally you have negated. Understand too, and that is how we can understand that it is Mithya, the Prapancha is Mithya, since it is negated. What is Satyam can never be negated. So, Nishprapancha Chaitanya, and that is negated means it has gone away. No, it was not there to begin with. That's how Adhyaropa. Not it was really associated waking world was there, but then the time has come, now waker has gone and waking world has gone. No, 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 no. That's how once you reach to Turiya, you understand it, all the three are one. So this prapancha was simply superimposed. Waker is this Vishwanara, waker is this consciousness, and even dreamer is consciousness. Everything is just consciousness, which is Brahman, which is whole. And therefore, Adhyaropa Apavada Bhyam Nishprapancham Prapanchate Shishyanam Upadeshartham Tattvagnehi Kalpita Kramaha. So, this is how it has been said. Now, thing is, I had also told you, this mantra, etc., how can they include Samashti, Vyashti both? You should say, well, your own experience, Jagrat Sthanaha, Vaishpragnaha, etc., that is ultimately Atma, that you should prove as a Brahman, that's fine. Atma is Brahman, that is to be proven. But here, even the Virat, Purusha, etc., is equated with this waking world, which is Virat Purusha, which is Ishvara. So that is, both are put in the third pada. Means both are equated. Vyashti, Samashti are equated. Means Shruti does not see the difference between Vyashti and Samashti. And that is to be understood a little bit, and therefore I am referring to that thing before I go into the mantras as such in a detail. So and so we call it, as Pujya Swamiji has mentioned this, and I want to go in a little more detail of that. And because I have more leisure, it looks like compared to Pujya Swamiji. so the whole thing, which is of course a Ishvara, we can say the whole universe, can be divided into three things. And they use this particular word, which you are familiar with, Adhyatma, Adhibhuta, and Adhibhuta. And one part of that is very common. Adhyatmam, Adhibhutam, Adhidaivam. So this Adhi means what? Adhi plus Atma, Adhyatma, right? Adhibhutam, Adhidaivam. So Adhi basically means centered on. Centered on. So Adhyatma means Atma, which is centered on Atma. Here Atma means body, mind, sense complex. Nothing to worry about. Centered on body, mind, sense complex, or the locus is called body, mind, sense complex. So Adhyatmam is being equated in a Sanskritam, is written in a synonymous word as Atmani. Atmani, seventh case. And that seventh case is a locus. But here we should understand it as a Vishaya. It's a Vishaya Saptami. There are several types of Saptami. Kala Adhikaranam, Adhikaranam. Of course, Adhi means Adhikaranam. Adhi means Adhikaranam. Adhikaranam is a locus, but Kala Adhikaranam. The time is Adhikaranam. In the morning, Pratah Kale, seventh case. Pratah Kale. That's not a locus in terms of place, it is in terms of a time. And Ujjainyam, right? Pratah Kale Ujjainyam, suppose. Then that Ujjainyam is a seventh case of Ujjaini, but that is place. Deshadhikaranam. Locus is a place. Locus may be time. Locus may be the Vishaya, the subject matter. So, in English we say is with respect to. We translate with regards to. With respect to. So, Adhyatma means with respect to this body, mind, sense complex. Atma means with respect to this body, mind, sense complex. Here the self is body, mind, sense complex. That is Adhyatma. And then Adhibhutam. With respect to, means a topic, locus, for which the locus, that's better, a topic for which the locus is Bhutam. Right? So the various things in the world. It's called Adhibhutam. A topic with reference to the locus, or topic with reference to Devatas, suppose if you feel too much. A topic with reference to Devatas, well, is Adhidaivam. So the whole universe, which is nothing but a Ishvara, has been viewed. One Ishvara. That's how they They go together, Vishwanara, etc. But let's understand properly how they put it Vyashti Samashti together. Really speaking, Vyashti Samashti division is Mithya. Really, it's a Mithya. You cannot say Vyashti Samashti division is there. You cannot say Vyashti Samashti division is not there. Therefore, Mithya. What is there, you cannot say. What is not there, you cannot say. Right? So we say what is Mithya. Seemingly they are accepted. Vyashti Samashti division is there, Swamiji. How can you say Vyashti only makes Samashti? Otherwise, where is Samashti? Therefore, Vyashti Samashti division should be, Vyashti alone makes Samashti. And therefore, Vyashti Samashti division we don't accept. No, it's not true. It's not true. See, Vyashti Samashti division is there everywhere. Take the body of, take the country, which is Samashti, and the state is a Vyashti. Now, in this also, of course, the states together, 51 states together, or 50 states together, make the country, United States. But still, I tell you, it is not that the Vyashti, combined together gives Samashti. At the Samashti level, at the country level, there are rules, which are the rules of a country, federal laws. And there are laws which are at the state level, which are not there at the level, at the federal laws. There are state laws. There are state laws. And in fact, there will be sometime a fight between a state and a country also. In court they go. So, there are several laws which are at the level of state, which are not there at the level of center or federal laws. There are laws there at the level of Samashti which are not there here. And therefore, division is there. When I give you your example, example of your own community. Your community, definitely, community means what? Swamiji, they are all independent bungalows or something, together has formed a community. Now here, the individual house, that particular house, and the people who are living there, they have their rules. They have their own rules. They are not rules of the community. And community also has the rules, which are not there in this, for the individual. And therefore, even though individual, the owners make a community, but I tell you, there is a land which is of community. No individual can claim. You cannot say that I am an individual, well, we make this community and therefore this is my land. You cannot say. Individually, you may have a certain land around your bungalow or place, but there is a community land. There are laws which are laws of community. Everyone has to follow. Every individual has to follow. And individually, you have certain laws which are not laws of the community. There are laws of the community which are not there of the laws of the individual. And therefore, there is a Veda. Vyashti Samashti Veda is there. Even though you say Vyashti makes a Samashti, Samashti cannot be there without Vyashti. But there are things. So definitely, Vyashti Samashti Veda is there. Vyashti Samashti Veda is not there. Why it is not there, Swamiji? Where is Samashti without Vyashti? And when you say Samashti, suppose Vyashti is included, why should you say Vyashti? Without Vyashti, you cannot make a Samashti. Therefore, Vyashti we have to say. No. Samashti. If you say Samashti, why should you say Vyashti? Is included. Could you follow what I am saying? I hope you are understanding what I am saying. So, Vyashti Samashti Veda is there? Yes, it is there. Vyashti Samashti Veda is there? No, it is not there. Where is Vyashti without Samashti? Therefore, ultimately you say Vyashti alone. Or if you say no Samashti, therefore you should not say Vyashti because Samashti includes Vyashti. Therefore, Vyashti Samashti Veda is not there at all. Well, that is also you cannot say. Vyashti makes Samashti and therefore Vyashti is the reality. Samashti we should not create a division. That's not true. Therefore, Vyashti Samashti Veda is a Mithya Veda. Anywhere, Vyashti Samashti division is a Mithya. That is indicated here. They put in a one pada together, indicating both the waker and the waking world, or waker and the Virat. Why waking world? I asked Swamiji, you are saying Virat. I am coming to that. So, that is negated in the fourth mala. That is Mithya, they have put together. So, Vyashti is negated and Samashti is kept. No. Jiva and Ishvara, the Virat Purusha, both are negative. Both are negative. What is there is Brahman alone. Anyway, so all these three are connected. Adhyatma, Adhibhuta, Adhideva are connected, and you can understand the constituents which are there in Adhyatma. Well, they are there outside in Adhibhuta with a different name. That's it. So any fluid inside this body, Adhyatma, is the water outside, Adhibhuta, one of the elements. The temperature here in this body is the fire outside, is Adhibhuta. Right? Same thing. Nothing else, no change at all. And well, the prana which is in the body is the air outside, Adhibhuta. Connection. You can see what is Adhyatma and Adhibhuta has a connection very much. And the minerals, etc., the carbon and calcium and phosphorus. And nowadays there is a lot of discussion for the magnesium also. One should take magnesium, whatever, zinc. In between there was for a zinc, a COVID time. So all these are there. That is the earth outside. And therefore, and what you smell through the nose is the molecules outside. Some chemical, something, Jasmine as throws out certain chemical and those molecules of that chemical. That's Adhibhuta. And therefore, Adhyatma and Adhibhuta are connected, very well connected. And connected through what? That's the important thing. That is where Ishvara enters. So, like between this sugar crystal and which is tasted, and one's taste buds, etc., there is a connection. Taste bud, Adhyatma. Sugar crystal, Adhibhuta. World. Now, well connected. Well connected means Ishvara has entered. Order, law. You cannot taste sugar crystal except in a taste bud. No, Swamiji, my taste buds are not working well, so I have tasted it through the nose. You cannot. You just cannot. Taste buds only taste a given thing which has a taste. That's a law. That's order. That order is Ishvara. That law, along with the conscious being, naturally, because it's an intelligent manifestation, serves a purpose. Therefore, definitely, it is Ishvara, which we call it Adhideva. But why it is called Adhideva, I will talk to you. So the Adhyatma and Adhibhuta connection is by law, and that is centered on a Devata. Means the law along with that Devata, a conscious principle behind that law, is called Adhideva. So when we invoke Adhibhuta, sun, as a Ishvara, well, that Ishvara is Adhideva. That's how we immediately put the word Surya Devata. We invoke the Ishvara as Adhibhuta, one constituent, Vayu, suppose. Immediately we will say Vayu Devata. You invoke a Ishvara, which is total, Adhibhuta, total, but in one aspect called Agni, fire. You will say immediately Agni Devata. So that is how Ishvara viewed with different aspects in Adhibhuta is nothing but different devatas. So we have, say, 33 crores and 33 whatever. So why not? The whole Ishvara is viewed with a certain orders, certain laws. And so consciousness associated with that law becomes Devata. That's how it is. So that's how even planets become Devata. Otherwise it's a planet. Planet is an inert thing, right? Like this Saturn and this Jupiter and all inert things. No. Guru Devata, Guru Payarchi and Shani Payarchi. Why you are worshipping Shani? We worship Navagraha Devatas. So all Otherwise, why you think this Jupiter where even there is no life, etc. Why we worship this Adhibhuta which is Jadam? No, 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 no. Adhibhuta, Adhyatma connections are there, and even as Adhibhuta, forget about Adhyatma right now. Adhibhuta functions in a very orderly manner. Therefore, a conscious being is associated with that. So, the Ishvara, the conscious being, is viewed from the sun. Val becomes Surya Devata. From the standpoint of Vayu becomes Vayu Devata, etc. So, you bring, that is how you bring now, in Adhibhuta, you superimpose Adhideva. Could you follow now? In Adhibhuta, sun is Adhibhuta, but you say Surya Devata, it has become Adhideva. And therefore, this is a superimposition on Adhibhuta. Adhibhuta is superimposed by Adhideva. Anyway. So you can superimpose a Devata on Adhyatma also, and you can meditate also. So, eyes, you can understand the eyes at at the Adhyatma level are connected to Adhibhuta, definitely, and Adhideva. So, blessing, that's how we say. See, the solar disk, Adhibhuta. Now, but that is viewed, Ishvara viewed in this Adhibhuta as a sun becomes Surya Devata, Adhideva. So Adhideva is superimposed upon Adhibhuta, right? Now, here Adhyatma also gets connected. Adhyatma, when your eyes are able to see with the blessing of the Adhibhuta or Adhideva, Surya Devata. So you can say, definitely you can say Adhibhuta also has a blessing. Adhibhuta as blessing means without sunlight you cannot see that way. Or your eyes are able to function because of the blessing of Surya Devata, Adhideva. Could you follow what I am saying? So, basically Adhyatma is also pervaded by various Devatas. We have it. That's the description in the whole description is there in Tattvabodha. What is the Devata of the Antakarana? What is the Devata of the Manaha? What is the Devata of the Buddhi? What is the Devata of the Ahankara? Etc. What is the Devata of the eyes, ears, etc. Means Adhideva which pervades Adhibhuta, right? Same Adhideva pervades Adhyatma. Therefore, even for the pranas there are Devatas. Yeah. For Upapranas, the Yoga Shastra talks about. For all there are Devatas. So that's how the Adhyatma is functioning. So there is blessing of Adhideva here as well as Adhideva there. Adhideva is nothing but basically the various Devatas. Those Devatas are nothing but the same Ishvara who has manifested in the form of this universe. How Swamiji Ishvara has manifested in the form of universe? Well, all the forms and functionaries, eyes, ears and everything else in Adhibhuta are expression of Ishvara's knowledge. Nothing but knowledge alone is the material. So Adhyatma means basically Ishvara in the form of an individual, Jiva's body, mind, sense complex, and the same Ishvara in the form of Jagat. This knowledge alone is this Jagat, which we experience as Adhibhuta. That's how, see, you can understand very well. Your own knowledge manifests in the form of an individual in the dream, your own knowledge manifests in the form of the rest of the things in the dream, space, time and everything. That is Adhibhuta, right? Your own knowledge. And the particular person, a particular individual who is experiencing that Adhibhuta, the dream world, is also your own knowledge. There is nothing else. You are the Nimitta Karana. As a conscious being, you are Nimitta Karana. Your own knowledge becomes the material for the entire dream world, which is Adhyatma and Adhibhuta. You pervade everything. In fact, everything is conscious. And therefore, what is there in Adhibhuta, you can take it you alone as manifested as various Devatas. Suppose Akasha Devata, suppose. Then Kala Devata. And there are trees. Your own knowledge pervades. When knowledge is there, consciousness is there. Otherwise, how can you? Knowledge is there without consciousness. Knowledge alone is called qualified consciousness, nothing else. When you say part knowledge, means part consciousness. And therefore, your own knowledge manifests in the form of everything. Means consciousness pervades everything. You, the waker's consciousness, pervades everything. And therefore everything is conscious. That's what scientists now say. The whole universe is, we feel universe is not inert. Universe is, we feel now that it is conscious. And consciousness principle is independent principle. It's not a part, product, property, etc. of the brain. Now the eminent scientists are saying. Anyway, we are not interested, but I'm saying Adhyatma and Adhibhuta are basically pervaded by Adhidaiva. And so, and in that sense, both the world and you, right, waking world and you, the waker, they are interconnected. The world is not something different from you, in terms of elements also, or in terms of the blessings of Devata. Devatas pervade here. What is there pervades here also. The Surya, the solar disk functions intelligently because pervaded by a certain law, and definitely consciousness is associated, Ishvara is associated. That's how we call Surya Devata. So that Surya Devata, the Devatas which is present in that sun, solar disk, also pervades here in our eyes. That's how Adhibhuta and Adhibhuta and Adhyatma both are basically well connected. And so you can get variety, and that is how it is. That's how for the eyes there is a corresponding object outside in the Adhibhuta. For ears there is a corresponding object, etc. So you can gain these varieties of experiences because there are varieties of means of experience which are again connected to the same Adhibhuta Jagat. And that connection is through the laws, and Ishvara himself is in the form of those laws, and those laws, Ishvara alone is in the form of those laws, means that law is not inert. That's called Adhishthan Devata. So one Adhishthan Devata which pervades the solar disk and make it function intelligently, same Surya Devata pervades even my eyes and make it function. So it's all well connected, well connected. And since it is well connected, it can be mentioned together. And ultimately, both are at the realm of one consciousness alone manifest in the form of this. You, the waker consciousness alone manifest in the form of various names and forms, Adhyatma and Adhibhuta, and pervaded by the same consciousness. Therefore, they are Mithya. That's how the dream, the waker has not become dream world. The dream world is waker. Waker is not dream world. Waker is waker. That's how he wakes up. And the whole dream world resolves into him. It emerges from him, resolves into him. The dream world is Mithya. Adhyatma Adhibhuta is Mithya. Waker, waking world, dream and dream world, etc. is Mithya. What is real is this consciousness which pervades both. And therefore, both can be taken together, Vyashti, Samashti. There is no difference as such in terms of the reality, etc. Or in terms of connection, if you want to say. So, this connection between Adhyatma and Adhibhuta is through various laws. Ishvara himself is in the form of these laws, and therefore, we take them, those laws, as a Adhishthan Devata, presiding deities. So, if you look at this Adhibhuta, the Jagat, from the standpoint of one law, then there is one particular Devata, which is we call the Deva also. And you can go on. All our emotions are also, definitely have been portrayed in the form of Adhideva and Adhibhuta. That's how, when any discussion on any character or in Mahabharata, you can understand their emotions. You are able to understand. So we feel Drona is like this, Karana is like this is like that. That's fine, but it's not that such an emotion is there. I have never heard of this emotion. You will never say. You may blame with a particular emotion to that person, or the description may be like that. Could be, but what is there in a Drona, or what is there in a Karana as a jealousy or whatever, you know very well. That shows that it is there in you. Otherwise, if you have never experienced such a thing, you will not be able to relate to Karana, etc. That how this is there. What is this emotion called jealousy? No. So if somebody said that all this Drona and Duryodhana and all, they are not there. Here, you think they are there in Adhibhuta. No, they are very much there in this Adhyatma in form of various emotions, etc. Anyway, so, and why this Samaji interconnected? Simple reason. When two things are well connected, both must have emerged from one thing. That's how it is. That's a Brahman. That's a Brahman. That's a Turiya. So when you talk of Turiya, the fourth pada, you negate everything. That's a reality. One thing alone manifesting from both. That's how from third mantra they are talking Vyashti Samashti together. There is no real difference between Vyashti and Samashti. Both are Mithya. Both are Mithya means both are Atma, Brahmatma. That's it. Brahmatma is Brahmatma. Fourth pada will tell you that. Turiya. Nothing else is there. Yeah. Right now Adhyaropa. Later Apavada. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.